BOSS, Southside Boss Radio. This is the revolutionary album.
I'm a beast, cold on streets, and my legion is coming running with barrels of heat. You better than me? What the fuck? You thought it was sweet? Until on paper your safe flavor, I mentally speak easy. As I come and conquer, cop from the floor, the monster implore, different rockets to conquer the war. Killer for sure, and I aim for liquors of pour. A message to war, or the message is better on the floor. Better than any better predator, stuck in them all. As I pause, better than any that rappers is on. The fact that you saw, what you listen to rappers is all. I've listened plenty of many, finish and tap in their jaw. I clap like applause when an action depression will cause. Many cities with many enemies crumble and fall. My weapon reborn like an atom, you're eventually small. Murdering all the scenery's bloody and calm. Am I lost? Talk about a meaningless cause. What I saw live poverty and poor. Am I living in the land of the lost, where the kingdom's full of animals are deemed to be flawed? Am I lost? Talk about a meaningless cause. What I saw live poverty and poor. Am I living in the land of the lost, where the kingdom's full of animals are deemed to be flawed? Am I lost? Talk about a meaningless cause. What I saw live poverty and poor. Am I living in the land of the lost, where the kingdom's full of animals are deemed to be flawed? Am I lost? Talk about a meaningless cause. What I saw live poverty poor. Am I living in the land of the lost, where the kingdom's full of animals are deemed to be flawed? My passage is strong when the action of cracking the bar. The muscles enlarged, the frequency is speaking to God. I'm eating your heart, and I swallow the pieces apart. When the courage of king of the jungle will stumble the dark, conquer the art, whether written or off of the top. My manners will spark, cause the seasons, the secrets to start. Never just talk, and I prove my picking apart. The pitch of my bark, shadow Thompson, are credits to squawk. And I leave him in the emptiest dark, and when you peep into my music, you will sleep where I brought. The permanent star, eating averages, anchored the floor. Your music is poor, and your album just sit in the store. My profit was sore, cause my vision is high as a hawk. When it misses, I move with them, the ocean, the shark, the greatest to bark. Teeth it down with as long as a fork. I pop them like chorus, the grace that they claim from the start. Am I lost? Talk about a meaningless cause. What I saw live poverty and poor. Am I living in the land of the lost, where the kingdom's full of animals are deemed to be flawed? Am I lost? Talk about a meaningless cause. What I saw live poverty and poor. Am I living in the land of the lost, where the kingdom's full of animals are deemed to be flawed? Am I lost? Talk about a meaningless cause. What I saw live poverty and poor. Am I living in the land of the lost, where the kingdom's full of animals are deemed to be flawed? Am I lost? Talk about a meaningless cause. What I saw live poverty and poor. Am I living in the land of the lost, where the kingdom's full of animals are deemed to be flawed?
This is the revolutionary album.
BOSS Radio, Southside Bosses, its owners and associates take no responsibility for the opinions or statements made by the talk show host or their guests. Statements or show topics are not necessarily the beliefs of the site or the radio station, and opinions between talk show hosts may conflict. This site does not endorse anything as the truth. That you will have to judge for yourself. But we try to speak the truth on the owner's behalf and reserve the right to question the supposed truth. In this time of misinformation, government-controlled media, and government corruption, it is sometimes hard to get to the truth, but we must try. It is not our intention to libel, discriminate, make hate, or annoy anyone. We believe that it is our constitutional First Amendment right of free speech to voice our opinions and our duty to the Constitution and country to expose the truth. This site takes no responsibility for the opinions of others and the postings of comments in chat rooms or forum posts.
As Mr. Flavor, I am proud to bring to you Mr. E, the music maestro.
How's everybody doing this evening? And this is your boy, Mr. E, Boss of the Southside Bosses, coming to you here live on BOSS Radio, where we like to bring y'all the best in everything underground. You're going to find all your unconventional podcasts here, because, you know, we talk about those things y'all be too scared to talk about. Y'all be letting Master get y'all in y'all feelings and stuff, and y'all don't want to actually go out there and do nothing no more. Y'all don't want to fight for freedom no more and stuff like that. So you know what? We're going to continue to fight for freedom, because I got 2 boys in this house that need to grow up to be able to have self-determination. Because without self-determination, are you really living, or are you just a slave? You know, slaves were not allowed to have self-determination. They had to go by the determinations and the wills of others that did not have their best means, their best interest in mind. So throughout these ages, we have had some enlightened souls who have provided some extraordinary leadership to the so-called black or the Nubian nation. These great men, such as like Noble Drew Ali, Marcus Garvey, Elijah Muhammad, and Minister Malik Shabazz, were endowed with wisdom and knowledge that they carefully utilized to guide the Nubians or the so-called blacks closer to the truth, which is translated in Arabic as Al-Islam. Yet you will find that out of all of those that you just heard me mention, only one of them you probably never heard of before. Noble Drew Ali. He is rarely mentioned in black history books, and even less frequency do you hear of him in the Albion's or the hybrid Europeans history books. And so in the spirit of black history, we are going to discuss who this great man was and what his accomplishments that he was able to give to pass along to us that makes him a great black or great melanated leader. Now, before I go off and say that, I do want to let you know that we are BOS's Radio. We are here on Revolutionary Hour. If you can, find us on your favorite streaming services. Like, share, and follow, and subscribe. And also share us to your family and friends. This way we could get this information out here, because you should know who Noble Drew Ali is. And for the fact that you do not know who he is, it actually says a lot. So I'm going to do something I rarely ever do. I want to give you an opportunity to like, share, and subscribe to this podcast, but I also want to give you an opportunity to invite as many people as you can to this podcast right now, because this is Black History Month. And as black people, you need to know your whole history. And you should not allow the people who descended from the people who took your history away from you to give you your history. Because with that happening, you do not know who Noble Drew Ali is. So you are missing a very key ingredient in getting freedom. So with that being said, I want to take a moment. We're going to play some Tre Libre with Fingerprints, so that it'll give you an opportunity to invite as many people as you can to this podcast. Please invite as many as you can, because we got to start educating in order to make a change, because drastic change is about to come, and without that education, you don't know which side you're going to be on in that change. And I know for one, my children are going to be on the right side of history by knowing what history is. So once again, this is Tre Libre with Fingerprint, and when we come back, we're going to get right into the nitty-gritty of who Noble Drew Ali was, what he did, and why it's not taught to you.
This is the Revolutionary Hour.
I wanna leave a mark, and I wanna make it legendary, with an emphasis on legendary. Yeah, I know I'm one of a kind. Sometimes I wish I could be different, but I can't change my fingerprint. Change my fingerprint. Change my fingerprint. Change my fingerprint.
I cannot rap about no trap, cause I ain't sold no crack. But if you been here from the start, you know I know about that.
dysfunctional family, but wouldn't change it for nothing. I'm a scarred teddy bear with these stitches and buttons. Birth of brave creatures, I cannot sit up in these bleachers. I'd rather tell my story on these songs and these features. Look at your fingerprints, they are one of a kind. God has blessed you with the mind to direct the blind. And they ain't talking about the focal, so adjust your vocal. I know at times it seems the devil's got you in the chokehold. Just breathe. It's 18 and 21, I know we're talking about the fingers, but there's power in the tongue. I speak life and breathe life in the walking dead. I know some counted them out, but I hope they change their head. Matter of fact, change their heart, giving brand new starts. Make them legendary like David, they leaving their marks.
I wanna leave a mark, and I wanna make it legendary, with an emphasis on legendary. Yeah, I know I'm one of a kind. Sometimes I wish I could be different, but I can't change my fingerprint. Change my fingerprint. Change my fingerprint. Change my fingerprint.
Can't change that. Took some time, but I found who I was. Who I am is an artist without the deal of the buzz. Accept the gift and the curse, but I'm a blessing in this verse. Be a light up on the earth before my corpse is in the hearse. Know what I mean? Young people, you can be what you aspire to be. Doctor, lawyer, the head of an embassy. Ambassador for human rights, you can lead the fight. Just make sure that your strike is bigger than your human bite. Don't just be talking. Cause some talk without muscle. And some crime but don't hustle. They don't work hard at all. And they wonder why their stars don't change. You can't grow without the growing pains. I often wonder the pain of Nelson Mandela. Then I'm taken to the quotes of Helen Keller. It says, the only thing worse than being blind is having sight but no vision. So I say write it down, make it plain, and execute your vision.
Mark, and I wanna make it legendary, with an emphasis on legendary. Yeah, I know I'm one of a kind. Sometimes I wish I could be different, but I can't change my fingerprint. Change my fingerprint. Change my fingerprint. I can't change my fingerprint. Change my finger. I can't change my fingerprint. Change my fingerprint. Change my fingerprint.
Man, Trey Libra with Fingerprint. Like he said on there, I can't change my fingerprint up. And I like this song, and I'm going to tell you why. Your fingerprint is a very identifying core of your nature. And it all depends on how you present yourself, what your identification would be. And when you let somebody present you or represent you, it kind of takes away your fingerprint, and it puts that fingerprint, they're using your fingerprint for whatever purposes they choose. That's slavery. You feel me? That's straight slavery. But one thing I do know is that Noble Drew Ali had taught the Nubian man and the Nubian woman to be proud of their African descent and to trade in the culture of America for the culture of the Moor. Now, Noble Drew Ali was able to bring the black man and woman together for the common cause of self-upliftment and economic development as a nation. Something no one really has been able to do. We've had people get us into somewhat a nation, and that has been proven detrimental if you actually look at the statistics. We've had people give us pride in being something that we have been deluded to thinking is good. But we have yet to have somebody help us uplift our own nation. And with that being said, we have had someone, I'm going to take it back. We have had someone, but we haven't had anyone taught to us about, no one taught us about these people, about this person. And that's what Noble Drew Ali was his mission was to do. Now, he was born January 8th, 1886, amongst his sleeping Moorish American nation. And during those days, all the Moors that was born in the United States were state certified to be commercial property under the All Persons Born Clause of the 14th Amendment. Drew Ali is pictured in a picture where he is at the Pan American Conference in 1912. And he's holding a Moroccan flag and a United States flag. Now, I'm sorry, it wasn't 1912. It was Panama in 1928 at the Pan American Conference. And at that time, it was hosted by Havana, Cuba. Now, the Panama was placed upon Ali's head by the president of Cuba. When Noble Drew Ali arrived and registered in Havana, he autographed his high name of El Hajj Sharif Abdul Ali, given to him by the Sultan Abdul Aziz Abu of the Saudi family upon completing the pilgrimage in the holy city of Mecca, Saudi Arabia. That event actually occurred in 1912, shortly after receiving the Commission Adept degrees of Prophet from the noblest authorities of the ancient Egyptian order. If anybody knows what the Commission is, they know that Commission actually comes from the empire of Kemet, which is now falsely called Egypt. And it was there that he actually bestowed the name of Faithful in order to be accepted into the holy city of Mecca. Now, a lot of people like to try to say that because of the things that he taught, he was a Mason. But I want to go ahead and go on the record right now and dispel that, because the accuracy of the above dates of his divine ministry on earth alone will dispel all that. And he was a mastermind, but he was not a Mason. He was 16 in 1902 when he left the USA. He was only 5 years too young to even join a Masonic lodge. Now, 10 years later, by the time Ali returned as a holy prophet, he was actually too angelic and all-knowing to even cut down the Masonry. And you could tell this through his teachings. But first, what did he do for black people? Because a lot of people don't like this. That's what we are looking for now. We got all this turmoil that's going around. We just put a president in the White House that everything he promised for black people, he ain't even doing right now. And after he done said, you ain't black if you don't vote for him. So the question is, what did he do for black people? Well, we do know that if you actually study his teachings, he actually teaches you how to come out from the paradigm that has been placed on you through slavery and invested by the Albions that came from Europe over here to, and when I say the Albions, I don't mean all of them. I mean like these certain Albions that came over here in order to put you up under thumb, up under rule as prisoners of war. He brought you your true history. He brought you your true heritage. And not only did he bring it to you, but he showed you prime examples. He gave you prime proof of your heritage. And you can actually look at what happened with the different national events of the black person. Take Black Wall Street, for example. The parallel between Black Wall Street and the factions that stepped out of the confines of the United States culture, you see that when it was very destructive. It was because it was owned by the United States, so they did what they felt like they needed to do with it. And if it was the UN at the time, they would have been able to just go up to the UN and explain it away. It was our stuff. We didn't like what they were doing there. We blew it up. And because you see how right now on a global level, a lot of people know about Black Wall Street and what happened with Black Wall Street. And it is funny. I say that because it's a world, it's taught all over the world whenever you go to certain studies, and as a way to understand American culture. But if you actually go to Tulsa, Oklahoma, you'll find people that never heard of what happened in their own town because, well, they're not held accountable for teaching them. Why would they? Why would they teach them? Oh yeah, we fucked y'all up. Yeah, we did that. Y'all ain't gonna do nothing about it, so we did that. Huh? Wait, what? I mean, truthfully and honestly, we can burn down as many of our cities as we want. That's just them taking their finger off the trigger. You think burning down your own city was something? They did it for us. Remember Rosewood, Florida? Remember Perry Street, North Carolina? So they just got smart and was like, you know what? Fuck that. We gonna get them to do it because I don't feel like doing this shit no more. We lazy, remember? We need them to do everything. And that's what they did. That's exactly what they did. But Noble Drew Ali sought to change that condition and the treatment of the black people in these Americas. He went to the lowest of us and began his call, quoting him. He said, "Come all ye Moors of America and hear the truth about your nationality and birthright." Now this is something no one before or since has tried to teach us. Now, he also said, "Come and link yourselves back with the families of the nations." Now, what did he mean by that? Well, you got to understand one thing. If I'm going to be able to do whatever I want to do with you, you can't be a human being. Because if you're a human being, that's immoral. That's unethical. But if you were some sort of monster, some sort of beast of the field, some sort of thing that I can own you, and I can do as I please with you because I own you. So how do I get you to not be human anymore? Well, we do know one thing. Humans come from a family. We break up the family, that's one aspect of their humanism gone. Another thing, a family bears a national name. They bear names that are or appellations that are indicative to them. This is always Noble Drew Ali is teaching in 1912, 1914. He's teaching all of these things, and we're like, oh my God. So the people who followed him were freed. They were able to move on. These are the so-called melanated people, the so-called black people that you see that are doing very, very well off, but they do not participate in the black shenanigans. It was because they had to get from up under that label. They could not be seen as property or something. And that property was labeled. That property was named. That property was given to the United States, to the several states. And it was labeled as black, Negro, colored, what have you. And then they say, oh, it's better than being called a nigger. You right. So fucking right we accepted the ridiculous. And I don't even know how Noble Drew Ali would have reacted to this, but to the African American adoption, that name is, it doesn't make any sense. We are not born on two continents. We're only born on one continent, so that makes us American. The name before that comes from an actual nation. A nation such as Ghana, Ghanaian, Nigeria, Nigerian, South African, Congo, Congoan, Egypt, Egyptian, Morocco, Moroccan, Tunisia, Tunisian, Mauritania, Mauritanian, Cameroons. that's a French name for them. Cameroons in Spanish or in French, I believe it is, means shrimp, because they were a very short statured people. But that just goes to show you that once we take your national name, you now belong to whatever name you adopt, and we can get you to adopt whatever label we want, and that's by giving you the black label and then making you proud of it. This is what he taught. And look at us in 2022 after so many years of unrest and turmoil and burning down cities, and now this plague, and we're still screaming Black Lives Matter. When in all actuality, the reason why that's an oxymoron is because the white man is like, well, we made black, and we say they don't matter. So all lives matter. Hell, since y'all want to play them type of games, blue lives matter. How about that? He's seen this coming. So this is why he went to build the MSTA, Moorish Science Temple of America, which taught people how to get their Moorish American ways, and how you were direct descendants of the first human family who rapidly populated the earth. We was everywhere. His dream was to seek the citizenship of all Nubians so that they would receive their divine rights as citizens according to the free national constitution that was prepared for all free national beings. You do, in that constitution, you do not have to participate in anything you don't want to participate in. Straight like that. I mean, I don't know how much more we can actually, gather from that. But let me just go to say that when you have someone telling you that you can come out of a construct that your oppressor has set for you, do you think that that oppressor is going to give you that information? Do you think he's going to allow that person or peoples to give you that information? No. So we already know why Noble Drew Ali was not allowed to be taught in black history. Matter of fact, not allowed to even be brought up in school. The teachers didn't know who he was. They had already achieved, by the 90s, they had already achieved enough blockage in between you and the actual truth to where you can't even get any information about him. But then all this information is coming out now. So what do? They play MK Ultra mind games and make sure that you think that anybody who brings you this information is crazy. Nick Cannon, Kanye. I can go on. But you already think these people are crazy. So by me even mentioning them this is probably going to have you turn off this podcast right now. But I ask you, just bear with me. Bear with me and do some study. Just do a little bit of research. You want out of this oppression, right? Do a little bit of research. This way you can be able to find the key to your oppression. You find the key to your oppression, oh man, you will be able to get out of your oppression. You will be able to be more, more in control of your own destiny, self-determination. So we're going to take a quick break real quick, but after we come back, we're going to talk into exactly what he did in order to get you some freedom. He established a lot before his passing and in timely matters in order to be able to get you some tools that if you so choose to follow them and so choose to do your research to find your own way out, you can. So we already know this man is dangerous because they don't want you to know what he knows. This is why he ain't in Black History Month. So, when we come back, we're going to discuss that. Until then, this is Tyree. We'll go away. Again, like, subscribe, and follow us on your favorite streaming service and share us to all your family and friends. We are still going to be bringing you much, much needed knowledge. Y'all heard me?
This is the Revolutionary Hour.
Yeah, God flow.
Ghetto to God. I know where I'm from and I know where I'm going. Yo, my life gon' get her to God because I'm a Christian, man. Came from the poor houses and all them pistols, man. Talking about that drama, they run down, they about to get you, man. Now God said he love us, guys. We gotta start living, man. No more calling family, watching them shots fly. God told us forgive, so I pray that we all right. Cousin took one in the chest. I'm glad daddy's still alive. Glad we got him. Couldn't imagine if he died, cause I'm about God. In my life, it had them bad parts and the hood, the good would pass, while all the bad is what they asked for. Getting crazy now, looking up, I pray the pavement now. Mama told me, baby, move, don't live where I made you now. Remember where they pull up to play with them lasers now. Don't sleep, Ziggy, one day they about to lay it down. I ask God to give me a path in his guidance. I'm tired of people dying from the acts of violence.
When the guns go bang, God won't let us go away.
We got those 4-5 and them enemies, those coke rides and them killing sprees. My whole life this sending me changed when God got into me.
When the guns go bang, God won't let us go away.
We got those 4-5 and those enemies, those coke ride and them killing sprees. My whole life in sending me changed when God got into me. Yo, my story start with a page when I was younger. Shoot out and wonder why would we play with sound like thunder. I'm born in a family of hood that keep saying they love you. They're acting like your brother, the same one of the Blazers, brother. I'm starting to pray to God. It's the reason that my plan made. Create a man and how I played. I thought I would land AIDS, playing the same game, getting money. Okay, this man paid, forgot about you. But now, look at this man leg. ALD, I couldn't walk. With you, I was taking off. Couldn't leave depression, but with you, you know my day was long. This is me on the track. God, I had to make a song. First, it was all hustling. Now I relate to God. Now I give him Jesus time. My time can't take a charge in jail for the year, dear mama. I don't want to break no more. I want to take the time. And I want to thank the Lord. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be alive to pray no more.
When the guns go bang, God won't let us go away.
We got those 4-5 and them enemies, those coke rides and them killing sprees. My whole life this sending me changed when God got into me.
When the guns go bang, God won't let us go away.
We got those 4-5 and those enemies, those coke ride and them killing sprees. My whole life in sending me changed when God got into me.
BOSS, Southside, this is the revolutionary now.
Y'all ready. So yeah, we are back. That was your boy Tyree. We go away on here, BOSS Radio's Revolutionary Hour, where we are discussing why they don't teach Noble Drew Ali in the in Black History and nor in school. So we've already discussed why, and if you're just tuning in, we do want to let you know what we got going. Right now, we have determined that if your oppressor had heard someone give you the keys to your freedom and they didn't want you to be free, of course they're going to do everything they can to make sure that those keys do not work. Even though those keys fit, you may have run into a lot of obstacles getting that key to that hole. So since we do know that you heard of Martin Luther King, you've heard of Marcus Garvey, you've heard of Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Malik Shabazz. Now see, what they won't tell you is that you can find pictures of Marcus Garvey and Noble Drew Ali because they worked together. They had plans, even though they did have different ideas. The Sheikh Dawood and Noble Drew Ali, they didn't preach separatism as Marcus Garvey and Honorable Elijah Muhammad. They placed greater emphasis on the Nubian people recognizing their true way of life. They all had at least one thing in common though. The insight to know that by following all the scriptures of Allah's most glorified and exalted, the Nubian in the West would be free from the Amorites' oppression. This is one thing they all agreed on. So when you see that they have similar ideologies, it causes you to wonder, who was this man? So let's dive into a little bit of his history, right? So Timothy Drew, who was later to become known as Noble Drew Ali, he was born on January 8th, 1886 in North Carolina. He was also referred to as the Prophet Noble Drew Ali by some of his followers. And one of the elderly members of the Moorish Science Temple of America claims that on the day of his birth that there was a great earthquake. Now, I looked for references to that, but I couldn't find an earthquake except in August of that year. So I'm going to say that if it did happen, it wasn't recorded. But this is just somebody's claim. You know, it was somebody that followed him. It probably was, you know, this is how legends are created. The legends that you hear of Hercules and Zeus and all these different gods that you hear in these mythologies. This is how. So most of them, if not all of them, were humans that had some amazing feats. And people attributed it to, you know, to the divine. But one thing is true. He was born amongst the Cherokee Indian tribes of North Carolina. So he was a Native American. And the young Timothy was put in the care of his aunt after the death of his mother. And little is very known about his father. His early childhood is said to have been very traumatic. Because before his mother passed, she had a feeling that her son would one day inherit a great mission. So she entrusted him to her sister, who didn't really like him. You know, she didn't really like her own nephew, Timothy Drew. So she abused him, physically as well as mentally. And there is a review of the so-called prophet's youth by one of his loyal followers that stated that one day Noble Drew Ali aunt put the young boy in the burning furnace, leaving him to pretty much die. But Allah, most glorified and exalted in his unrelenting mercy, saved the child from being burned alive. And from that point on, prepared him for the great work that he has to perform for his people. Now, I know that may sound a little outlandish, but anybody that knew him knew that he had permanent scars on his hands and face, which was evidence of the abuse that he actually endured as a child. So it's not too far off. He's not the one that actually bragged about this into the public. You know, it was apparently known. But if you actually look into his actual history, and you'll find that during the times, there was so much that was going on with the people of color, the melanated people, that he didn't really want to actually be in the United States anymore. So as he grew older, he got very interested in the East. So he got up and left one day. And he went to Egypt. But while he was in Egypt, he learned of his heritage. He learned that his heritage had foundation in his becoming a pioneer in Al-Islam, and how it affected the black man and black woman of the U.S., of the North American hemisphere. So he returned to America with the Arabic name of Ali. But before he did that, he had the opportunity to visit the great universities, sit with the Egyptian sages, travel through the inner chambers of the pyramids, and also to learn the origin of the slave trade that took place from the north coast of Africa to the Americas. He was able to see and believe that with his true way of life of Al-Islam, and Allah, most glorified and exalted as the creator of the original black man, by being in Egypt, he could see for himself that the black man had laws, had science, had math, art, dignity, citizenship. Hell, had power over his own land. So there was much to be garnered from where he learned that they had established in another land, that he knew that could be applied home. And there's really little formal education of the modern Egyptians in those days. So most of their education came by way of word of mouth, of course. This way, Noble Drew Ali was able to learn so much about the life and past and present of the Egyptians that he saw the parallels to how they fell amongst the parallels of the people of his people here at home. And Noble Drew Ali was inspired with his origin and returned to the United States to claim his people and to raise them up as clean, self-respectable, upright citizens who descended from a glorious race of people. And after he returned to the United States, he began his mission. So he learned from some of the greatest minds that ever lived in the land of Ekuta or Egypt or Kemet. And he brought that information back over here to show us that, hey, we used to be gods. We used to be rulers. We used to be self-determining. We used to control our own destiny. Now, we are subject to the whim of any non-melanated person who just has a hair up their ass and wants to hurt somebody and get away with it. Well, how did they get away with it? That's the first question you have to ask. Because you didn't do anything, as a melanated person, you didn't do anything wrong. But yet then you are being able to be tormented and punished for the crimes that were never committed. So how do you get out of that? You got to find out how you got in. And by his traveling over there to Egypt, he was able to see exactly what it was that is controlled the minds of us over here. So he came over here with the plan, came over here with the mission to rectify everything that was wrong with our people, in order to be able to get our not only land back, but our power as well. It's crazy. But yet we don't ever hear about him. Hell, he even was telling us to be united. If you're going to be a United States citizen, be a good United States citizen. And that didn't mean be a good slave. No, he said be a good United States citizen by becoming a citizen fully, so that you can actually utilize the Constitution. Because if you listen to our other podcasts, you'll learn that there's so many different ideologies out there that has you believing that you are black, and since you are black, this wasn't made for you. This country wasn't made for you. And if you actually sit back and read what really went down, instead of listening to people, then you will find out that your ancestors actually helped them build this nation. And I'm not talking about because they were slaves. No. We had a joint venture going on. Yes, we was cheated out of it. It's called escheat. And yes, we was cheated out of it. But we still went into contract with them. We can make them abide by that contract. You just have to get your proper persona on. Once you get into your proper person, to where you can present yourself to the nation as a citizen amongst your nationality, then you will gain your power back and be able to charge forward. This is what Noble Drew Ali taught. Noble Drew Ali taught you that you are the people. Once they considered you men and women, once they said that you was a part of the human race, there was no need for the 13th Amendment after that, because the Declaration of Independence would have kicked in when it says all men are created equal. All they had to do was say we were men. But instead it said, we're going to keep them with their black status. Anybody who black ain't a man. Ain't a human at least. But we can sure use that extra work for cheap too. Oh, we ain't even got to pay them money? Oh yeah, that's right. The Constitution says in Article 1, Section 10, Verse 1, that money shall comprise of gold and silver. And we giving them cotton after they pick it for us. So they technically picking their own money. Hey! We got them. That's exactly what they did to us. But yet, I'm sorry, you are proud to be black. So you're going to allow them to continue to rape us. I ain't with all that. I ain't with all that at all. It's stupid to me. And I'm not even going to play with it no more. So this is why we are going to continue to bring you this information at all times. We want you to understand exactly what's going on. We need you to understand what is going on. Because if you do not understand what is going on, we are all blind. And when one of us is blind, and all of us, we all blind. We all. We cannot go any further. We cannot move anywhere. And we are sure not going to make any progress. So, I just hope that y'all understand and are ready to. You ain't got to pick up a gun. This ain't even what it's about, because I'm going to tell you right now, y'all ain't ready for that. You mentally are not ready for that. You're not. We tried that. Y'all wasn't down. Remember? So make sure y'all understand that. So we're moving on to the next best thing, because that was supposed to be the original thing in the very first place, mama. But what can I say? I hope y'all gathered something out of this information that we have just was able to give to you, because it's going to be more if you need it. And I actually suggest that you go and look up more about the life of Noble Drew Ali. Go look up more about the Moor Science Temple of America. Go look up just being a Moor. Just look that up. And I guarantee you will see it actually come and unfold right before you. And that's the last thing we want, is to be blind to our own heritage that would give us so much power. You try to hold on to a legacy because it shows you that perseverance. It gives you pride in saying, I've been through this. Well, guess what? Our history before that includes that, and it also includes when we were the conquerors of Europe. Remember that. So y'all make sure y'all tune in, turn up and zone out. Like, follow, and share us on all your favorite streaming services. On iHeart, iTunes, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Deezer, and more. You can also find us on our website at sbcmovement.com. You can find us on Facebook at BOSS Podcast. You can also find us on the Snapchat, Southside Bosses. We everywhere, baby. We even on TikTok, BOSS_radio. We are doing it. Check out our TikTok. You want to learn something? Check out our TikTok, because we stay going hard on that. Alright, this is your boy, Mr. E Boss of the Southside Bosses, tuning in, tuning out. And hey, just want to give a happy belated birthday to Grand Sheikh Taj Tariq Bey of the Moors of the Round Table. Yesterday was his birthday on February 14th. Alright, Moors, I hope y'all all learned something and we can move forward. This is Mr. E on my... this is actually an unreleased. I just been playing it for y'all. Glory here on BOSS Radio.
They been trying very, very hard.
Southside
What you afraid of?
I think we're gonna be friends.
Hardly. You niggas never invited this boy to the party. Standing outside in the cold rain, looking through the window, see you turn it up like car keys. So low with the mind frame, but I came with my game, cause ain't a damn thing gon' change. Stayed in my lane, fry label pay, sippin' Dre, saying to myself what 8 years gon' change. So I focus on the game plan, to put them all on their knees like they about to say amen. Got a cry like Rayman, ain't a strange man, all I wanted was the screens for the bandstand. So I aim to get the stacks to the ceiling. When you hear this, you'll be feeling my story. I used to only want the money, but now I'm coming for the glory.
Friends.
opened up, and I've been seen in all of my glory. Suddenly, the clouds have opened up, and I've been seen in all of my glory. Suddenly,
So I aim to get the stacks to the ceiling. When you hear this, you be feeling my story. I used to only want the money, but now I'm coming for the glory. So I aim to get the stacks to the ceiling. When you hear this, you be feeling my story. I used to only want the money, but now I'm coming for the
We're gonna
glory.
be friends.
Remember that little girl talking about what he's gonna do to obtain success? He was 10 toes down, made progress, while the congregation hated like Congress. I can't say I have a status, but Nipsey brought the hustle back, so now the bosses got this. We about the block back, can't stop that for the suburb, throw the way to the projects. No longer treated like objects, tossed to the side, we glide, no matter with the weather. I remember living hard, so I have to stay fly, so baby, you fucking with a treasure. This ain't like a scary movie, the end it might just be a little bit gory. Nothing else is gonna stand in between me and glory.
We're gonna be friends.
suddenly, the clouds have opened up, and I've been seen in all of my glory. Suddenly, the clouds have opened up, and I've been seen in all of my glory. Suddenly,
So I aim to get the stacks to the ceiling. When you hear this, you be feeling my story. I used to only want the money, but now I'm coming for the glory. So I aim to get the stacks to the ceiling. When you hear this, you be feeling my story. I used to only want the money, but now I'm
I
coming for
think
the
we're gonna
glory.
be friends.
My mom told me not to ever let these cowards play me. You lose it all in the blink of an eye. So true while they pointing at the white man, they planted on my back while holding a big knife. Now they're gonna need a crossbow, cause I need 50 feet before I take a seat. Back to the wall, no room for slipping. Let me see it all when it comes to take a G. There's no fakery, the money come fast like a sale at the trap bakery. You could be kidding me, I'm still here to sweet lick like you some kind of candy man. This is for the time I spent. I know that baby out there is checking for me. I guarantee it's not me, but the glory.
I think we're gonna be friends.
suddenly, the clouds have opened up, and I've been seen in all of my glory. Suddenly, the clouds have opened up, and I've been seen in all of my glory. Suddenly,
So I aim to get the stacks to the ceiling. When you hear this, you be feeling my story. I used to only want the money, but now I'm coming for the glory. So I aim to get the stacks to the ceiling. When you hear this, you be feeling my story. I used to only want the money, but now I'm
I
coming for the
think we're
glory.
gonna be friends.
Psalms 27, ink in my skin. No hater shall prosper.
I am the man that I always wanted to be.
Julian Lennon.
You know what I'm saying? I'm him. I'm a living legend. I'm what I always wanted to be.
Dear Lord, it's time to make a confession. First, thank you for the years you've been blessed. Thank you, God. You told me never let it get the best. Never let it. Pussy niggas in the streets keep on testing. Why they testing? If you got time, homie, you ain't getting money. Time waits for no man in the land of milk and honey. 2 cell phone jumping, move a couple onions. Started from nothing, serving junkie, sliding in the bucket. Why they always wanna see me down bad? Is it cause I choose to walk down my own path? Fake hugs, fake smiles, keep the fake down. We all in the same bucket, who's the king crab? Young hitter swinging choppers like in Vietnam. Quick to do a body for his road dog. 223 bullets ripping kids in the car. They putting on 4 million views on World Star. Here come the cracker with the murder one. Mama crying, Lord, please don't let him take my son. It's side 49, the city where I'm from. For this thing, only judge can be the man above. Lord, I'm praying hard for my haters. I see too many die, about to say too many die. Feels like death around the corner waiting. Swear I'm trying to stay patient. I'm a few steps away from heaven. Stack money, ducking fair case. Please don't let me get caught up in the making. Every day I'm walking with the angels. Haters come from different angles. I'm a few steps away from heaven.
You got a connection, okay?
Few steps away from heaven.
Connection is eternal.
Few steps away from heaven. God. Stack money, ducking fair cases. Please don't let me get caught up in the
You know what I'm
matrix.
saying? It's making connection to the people that work for you.
God.
You
I'm a
can't
few
win.
steps away from heaven. A new man, bigger plans. I had to change focus. Live fast, die rich. The world is slow motion. Young niggas murder daily. Really, what's the motive? No matter how much we pray, another victim chose. Keep your eyes on your circle. I mean the ones close. All the bitches in the bottles have you losing focus. In the Benz doing 100, feel the winds blowing. Tan leather, black dash, heavy perp smoking. Thinking back on my life and where the future going. Wanna make my daughter smile and know what daddy's going. Like a roast through concrete on one of God's child. No more going against the grain, no more running wild. No more penitentiary chances, toting guns around. No more cooking up the work, trapping out the house. Poor decisions tend to lead to fucked up circumstance. Number love.
Free my nigga Smoothie Band. The money flowing fast like an avalanche. Young hitters killing shit like the Taliban. Hating niggas try to trick the real ones off the street. Mama praying that her only son won't be deceased. Keep your eyes on these hoes who think the game's sweet. She suck you, touch your pockets when a nigga sleep. The game of life all begins in between the sheets. The world changed when Adam chose to follow Eve. Let's go. Lord, I'm praying hard for my haters. I see too many die by the state. Feels like death around the corner waiting. Swear I'm trying to stay patient. I'm a few steps away from heaven. Stack money, ducking fair case. Please don't let me get caught up in the making. Every day I'm walking with the angels. Haters come from different angles. I'm a few steps away from heaven.
My mind is right. I don't need a bunch of books to read to get my mind right. My mind right. I've been making money the majority of my life. So I learned how to make my money work for me. You know what I mean? So that right there, you know, that's priceless.
This is the revolutionary hour. BOSF, Southside Boss Radio. Southside Boss Radio.